blue herons. Well, we made it through our first week of distance learning, and honestly, you guys did an amazing job, and I'm super proud of all the work that you turned in. So today we get to start on a new story, and it is the story of the history of Medford. Now, not all of us live in Medford. We're kind of spread out across the valley, but Medford is the largest city in our area, and it also happens to be the county seat of Jackson County, which means this is where all the county government is located, is in the city of Medford. Now, the city of Medford began a long time ago in 1883, when Oregon was still a very new state. And it happened because the railroad was coming through southern Oregon. And there were 4 landowners in the valley, and they agreed to deed their land to the Oregon and California Railroad and a town surrounding the depot or the train station that was going to be put there by the railroad. So that happened in the fall of 1883, and just about 6 months later, in the spring of 1884, Medford already had a ton of houses and businesses. They had 2 hotels, saloons, a stable, and they had stores. Medford grew super quickly once it was established. By 1885, we were incorporated as a town. And what that just means is that we became an official town with like our own post office. And we were put on maps and things as an official city. And we also had an official government at that time in Medford. So that meant that the town government was working really hard to put in all the modern conveniences that we take for granted now, like water pipes and sewer lines and electric streetlights, which was really advanced for 1885. And people started to think of Medford kind of as this city of the future here in southern Oregon. Well, by the early 1900s, just a few years later, Medford was really starting to boom. That's when the orchard businesses really started up. And we had all of these pears being grown here and apples and all sorts of fruit. And that became really big business here, and it was exported out on the trains quite a bit, and people made a really good living here in the orchards around Medford. And at that time, about 1912, the news came out that Medford, Oregon, was among the fastest growing cities in the entire United States. So they were really growing by leaps and bounds at that time. And just like any city, once all the necessities were established, once we had, fire station and a police department, once we had schools and things, well, once you get all those basics taken care of, then you can start having fun stuff. So around that time, that's when entertainment really started to become big in Medford. We had a library, a big one, that was established. We had a roller skating rink. There was a swimming pool, lots of movie theaters, and there's even an opera house. And in addition to all these fun things to do in Medford, there were great businesses too. We had really good schools here. We had 2 banks and a brand new hospital. It was called Sacred Heart Hospital. So maybe if your grandparents have lived here for a long time, ask them, they might have been born there. My parents were born at Sacred Heart Hospital. And we also had a lot of beautiful parks. Now, Medford had turned into, in a very short amount of time, a very prosperous city in southern Oregon. It used to be that Jacksonville was the county seat of Jackson County. But it didn't take too long before Medford was actually named the county seat, and all of those county courthouses and county offices were moved from Jacksonville over to Medford. And I still don't think Jacksonville has quite forgiven Medford for that. Now, when you go to downtown Medford, they're doing a lot of projects to revitalize our downtown and make it beautiful again. And our downtown area has actually been named as it's been on the National Register for Historic Places, which just means that the United States has recognized Medford as having a lot of important history. And so we're doing our best to preserve it and teach people about it. And that's what we're doing here this week. So I hope you enjoyed the story of Medford, and I hope to see your beautiful drawings tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.